check it, check it. Hey, people. For me, a ringleader, bad party bleeder. Make this with a song, lead after lead after leader. Hey, can you dig it? I come alive, y'all, give me what you got. Back up, come shake up, pump your fist up. You check the side of no buckshots, a bus slip. Put the morning like a kid. Gonna make it feel alright. Move it up all night. Body rock, show me what you got. Let go, break it. Slip on the morning like a kid. Gonna make it feel alright. Move it up all night. Body rock, show me what you got. Let go, break it. Check it, check it, check it out, check it, check it out, check it, check it, check it out, check it, check it out, check it, check it, check it out, check it, check it out, check it, check it, check it out, check it, check it out, check it, check it, check it out, check it, check it out, check it, check it, check it out, check it, check it out, check it, check it, check it out, check it, check it out, check it, check it, check it. Hey, people. Check it out, check it, check it, check it. Check it, check it. Hey, people. For me, a ringleader, bad party bleeder. Make this with a song, lead after lead after leader. Hey, can you dig it? I come alive, y'all, give me what you got. Back up, come shake up, pump your fist up. You check the side of no buckshots, a bus slip. For the morning like a kid. Gonna make it feel alright. Move it up all night. Body rock, show me what you got. Let go, break it. Slip for the morning like a kid. Gonna make it feel alright. Move it up all night. Body rock, show me what you got. Let go, break it. Check it, check it, check it out, check it, check it out, check it, check it, check it out, check it, check it out, check it, check it, check it out, check it, check it out, check it, check it, check it out, check it, check it out, check it, check it, check it out, check it, check it out, check it, check it, check it out, check it, check it out, check it, check it, check it out, check it, check it out, check it, check it, check it. Hey, people.
Yo, what is up, everyone? This is episode 42 of the Glimmer cast, and I'm joined by a panel of special guests. First with us is Mint Salad. How are you doing tonight, girl?
I'm doing good. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I am going to be playing some background music just to like have some like ambiance as well while we're going over some of the latest TV, film, pop culture news, some of the biggest, announcements from San Diego Comic-Con, and just get your take on all that stuff and some of the stuff that you're most interested in. So I'm really excited to dive into that with you. But yeah, oh man, the chat is going ham. Let me go ahead and welcome everyone in here. And I think the music is starting to boot up. Let me just see. Yeah, it's a little soft, but I think it is starting up. Okay, cool. And let's see, we got Lonely Banter in the house. What's up, LB? Good to see you. Good to see you. And we got Hans in the house. A wizard is never late. Rhea Glimmercast, nor is he early. He arrives at precisely when he means to. Awesome Lord of the Rings reference, Hans. And Mad Max, Movies, Madness, and Entertainment, out of town. Have a great stream, ladies. Thank you so much, Max. I appreciate the support. And Lonely Banter, thank you so much for coming through to support as well. Love to see it. Mattia, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming through. Snorlax, good evening, y'all. Hit the like button. Really appreciate it. And I finally got my ticker working at the bottom to check out everyone's links and their social media in the description as well. Let's see. We also have Hate Nate in the house. Ray and SuperHive, can't get anything better. Yes, Allie SuperHive is on her way in, so can't wait to have her join us. WonderMeg may be unable to join us because she's experiencing some internet issues, but I sent her the link just in case she can pop on, even if it's just through the mobile app or like the mobile app, mobile browser pop-up, whatever. And we got Zeno in the house. What's up, Zeno? Good to see you. And Raka says, did you see Nope yet? I have not seen Nope yet. It's a lot of content I need to go see. Have you seen it,
Man, I was going to see it yesterday, and then I realized that the movie theater was closed. So yes. I was, nope, I did not. But I want to see it very soon and review it.
Dude, I can't wait. Your movie reviews are banging. Like, I was telling you backstage, but folks, if you haven't checked out Mint Salad's channel,
daily reviews.
Yeah, she's been pumping out like beast mode like content, like fully edited, like transitions, camera work, all that stuff, visual effects. Definitely check her out, y'all. And let's see, we got Mike Stanchill Porter in the house. What's up? What's up? All my pop culture heads in the chat. Comic book movie nerds, the works. Ray, you're a bit quiet. Mint is louder. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can try to fix that in just a moment after I greet everyone. Just trying to buy time while Allie is on her way in. And we got Chillmonger in the house. What's up, Chillmonger? Good to see you. And let's see. I can go ahead and check my settings really quick, though. That's weird how, like, I'm really soft, I guess. I'll go ahead and, like, turn it up, though. Maybe, like, that will help.
I'm also leaning forward, so that's a possibility of me being very loud.
Let's see. Okay. Hopefully, yeah, me making, like, the manual adjustments on, like, my mic and my computer help. But yeah, cool, awesome. And then Hate Nate in the house. What's up, Hate Nate? Good to see you. Perp Minded, good to see you as well. And let's see. Gibby Gilbertson in the house. What's up? What's up? Good to see you as well. Tony, good to see you too. And yeah, everyone's just piling in. And Snorlax says, I need to make better use of my AMC A-list. That would be a great incentive for me to like keep up with all these movies the day they come out. But yeah, I just wanted to put Nope at the top of my list to see eventually. It just is like, time is a factor as well. There's only so much like I can watch in like 1 week on top of like my actual job.
Yeah.
What's up, Allie? Good to see you.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
Good. You?
That's good. I'm doing good. Lots of alcohol tonight.
Oh.
Yes. Thirsty Thursday. Like,
yeah.
That's what's up. And what's up, everyone in the chat? Thank you so much for coming in. We got a primetime round group of like folks coming through to like see this discussion, which I love. And
awesome.
yeah, we've got Ruby, CM Retro, Momoon, Hayden Nate. Y'all, thank y'all so much for coming through. So yeah, like, Allie, yep, and Mint Salad. This is my first time actually like talking with y'all face to face. I'm really stoked that y'all could join us here today to talk about sort of like the year up till now of like comic book movie announcements, TV shows we've loved, you know, all the works of like things that I know y'all like to cover on your channels as well. So, Allie, I'd love to, you know, get your just like a high level overview of how you're feeling about this year up till now of like, you know, some of the announcements we've seen up to so far.
Well, I guess I know I guess it's hard to say because I guess Comic-Con, well, we just had Comic-Con, so I guess that's kind of the freshest like dose of announcements that we've gotten recently. So of course, I mean, not surprisingly, Marvel kind of dominated in that area. But they definitely brought a lot of stuff to look forward to, which is not surprising, especially since it was the first Comic-Con, live action Comic-Con in the first last few years. But so I'm looking forward to some stuff that they announced. I was happy to see that the Shang-Chi director was going to be directing the King Dynasty Adventures movie. I think that's a good choice for a director. I'm looking forward to some DC stuff coming out. Black Adam, Aquaman. I guess The Flash is still, I'm always like nervous to be excited about that one. But, you know, still exciting to see those characters on screen, definitely. But, I mean, I guess speaking of announcements, we are kind of in the midst of a big discussion right now on Twitter because of Jason Momoa and Ben Affleck. So that's why I was kind of late, because I was like, I have to make a video as soon as possible. And I got to edit it real quick. So yeah, but hopefully with, you know, Warner Bros. And DC, hopefully things keep moving in a positive direction. I mean, outside of Warner Brothers and DC and Marvel and all of that, you know, Stranger Things and like, you know, Netflix stuff has been pretty exciting. But their, you know, some of their original stuff is pretty good. So I guess Stranger Things is probably one of the best that we've seen recently. But yeah, I mean, I guess there's been a pretty decent amount of things too. There's been some decent stuff to watch recently.
Yeah, definitely. Like there was like it was a double whammy of DC or like Warner Brothers, like, you know, centric news that came out. So I know you're going to have like some really awesome commentary on that for sure over on your channel. But yeah, Mint Salad, I want to get your thoughts more on like, you know, as far as like the comic book movie news circuit, is that something that you follow actively? Or are there specific IPs like Marvel, DC related that you particularly gravitate towards more?
So I did like watch the entire Comic-Con, like what was released, but only through my very famous friend Hack the Movies, Tony from Hack the Movies, and he was going through all the lists, and most of the stuff I wasn't very interested in, but the stuff that did catch my eye was Daniel Dustin Cretton, the director of Shang-Chi, is going to. I'm just excited for his like. He's going to do a new movie. I'm so excited for it. It's going to be great. But also, what I was super stoked about is there's going to be a teenage. A TMNT / Power Rangers crossover, and I'm very excited about that. And then also the just general Marvel stuff and DC stuff I was also very interested in. I've put myself in position willingly because I wanted to watch all the Marvel movies and I couldn't like figure out how to force myself. So I was like, I'm going to do reviews of it. And now I'm going to follow the Marvel movies and I'm very excited to, I'm just a big fan of Marvel in general. And when it comes to like some DC stuff, it's I'm more of like a bigger fan of like the Batman stuff, but like there weren't like a lot of names that kind of caught my attention per se, but there was a lot of like just the Marvel stuff I was like really hyped for, and I'm very excited for that.
No, dude, same. So like, I'm definitely more of like a casual engager in this content, but I tend to gravitate more towards the DC stuff because the darker tones and storytelling and more experimental, you know, takes on these legacy characters is a little bit more fascinating to me than what I feel we've gotten in the last like few years from Marvel, where it's like very formulaic and it's a marathon of content to just get to the next product. But I do want to shout out some like successes with Marvel that I felt that they were taking like some creative, you know, I guess not liberties, but they were being a little bit more out of the box, like Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. I'm sure both of y'all have seen that.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably like my favorite Marvel movie in a long, long time. And I'm just someone who appreciates when movies can take existing characters from like a previous movie that we've seen them portrayed in and completely, you know, put another lens or, you know, sort of filter on how we see them. Certainly, like with Scarlet Witch, she was the highlight of that movie for me. Yeah, like, were you like vibing with Scarlet Witch? Was she the highlight for you too?
I love Scarlet Witch. I remember binge watching all of WandaVision, and I was like, I fell in love with her character, and then seeing her in Scarlet Witch, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. You're doing all the things. You're like the worst person. I love it. I just love her character so much.
She's great as Scarlet Witch. I was happy to see her. Well, WandaVision for me was like up and down. Like it kind of took a few episodes for me to get into it, and then there was like in the middle I was in it, and then I felt like the finale episode was somewhat of a like there were some things that were kind of a letdown for me as like a finale episode, but I always have liked her as Scarlet Witch, like ever since she, you know, in Age of, like all of her Avengers appearances and everything. I really like her as Scarlet Witch. So
yeah,
it was cool to see her. Like she's had a pretty good arc, I would say, compared to some other, well, I mean, aside from the Marvel characters that we've seen from the very beginning, like ones that we've seen for years in like every movie, for having, you know, like a shorter span of time between her appearances, like she's had a pretty good arc. So it was cool to see her, like she's super powerful. And Marvel doesn't have a lot of characters that are really super like overpowered like that. So it was cool. I mean, it was definitely, I think Sam Raimi was a good choice. He was kind of a little, you know, breath of fresh air in the Marvel universe, because I love his Spider-Man movies. They're still my favorite ones. And now when I go back and see them as more of like from an adult perspective, you see that there's like some horror elements in there. I didn't really notice it much as a kid, you know, or like when I was younger and they came out. But now you're like, oh, well, okay, he does like to do that. And I feel like Doctor Strange was, I mean, I would put it, it is almost like completely a horror movie to me. I mean,
it was totally. There's like a lot of like really gruesome moments in that movie too, and graphic violence. Yeah, I agree.
It was really good. It was interesting though.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, like as far as Thor: Love and Thunder, to just sort of like do a 180 in terms of like, you know, maybe some of our outlooks on it. I think that is one of the key examples I've listened to a lot of folks say is like highlighting a lot of the problems that Marvel has as far as like taking these characters that have been around for like, you know, what, like 60, 70 years and completely, you know, disregarding their, you know, the impact of their presence in their universes, even like sort of like rewriting how those characters were portrayed in previous movies. Mint, I know I watched your review for Thor: Love and Thunder. I absolutely loved it. Again, your style of humor is my cup of tea. But what just for folks who haven't like caught up on your content yet, what were some of your high level thoughts on that movie compared to other content you've enjoyed this year?
Thor: Love and Thunder. First of all, just the, I just really love the colors, first of all. I'm like an artist first, I would say. So like I focus heavily on the colors. And then also the plot was like really endearing. It was just like all about like, you just gotta love each other. And honestly, I like that message. I don't see that message a lot in movies. Natalie Portman was a great lady. No, she's not Lady Thor. She's Mighty Thor. She's a great Mighty Thor. And yeah, the acting's pretty great. Like, I enjoyed the movie. I would recommend. I knew some people who didn't quite enjoy the movie, but not a lot of people that I knew enjoyed. Not a lot of people I knew liked the movie as much as I did. Like, I was a big fan of it. Also, my favorite part is when you get the two. Oh, man, what are the rock monsters called? Taika Waititi voices one of them. Korg.
Korg.
Yeah, Korg. All right. So yeah, you get the. My favorite part is when they do mention like the Korg ritual, and it's like, hey, we hold hands, and then they show that, and that's technically, and that's how they reproduce. So that's like technically the first like homosexual sex scene on film, technically. And I was like, mind blown. I love it. This movie, I love how revolutionary it is too. Like, I love it. I love this film.
No, dude, like, so for me, I am more on the fence of, like, I enjoyed the movie for what it is. I kind of went in with the expectation that set from the previous Thor movie, Ragnarok, like, okay, like, they're making Thor a little bit more silly, like, self-deprecating, and kind of the brunt of his own, of the jokes in his own movie are made against, at, you know, his expense. But yeah, I would definitely want to get Allie's take because I want to hear what you have to say on this movie.
Yeah, I kind of had sort of the same experience as you, Raya. I kind of, after Ragnarok was a really unexpected, I don't know how to say, it's a different perspective on Thor than we had seen up until then. And I really liked his first two movies, and that was definitely I went into it with the same expectation as after watching Ragnarok. So I was like, it's pretty much going to be like that, different story. You know, we're getting Jane Foster back. I was mostly looking forward to seeing her come back because I like Natalie Portman. And I was looking, like, I kind of missed her, you know? Like, she wasn't really around much. And she kind of just was, like, not there anymore. And she was a big part of Thor. So I was mostly looking forward to seeing her come back. And it was awesome to see her suit up. I guess it's hard for, like, I see that Chris Hemsworth, like, he can be legit, like, genuinely funny as Thor. And they kind of explored that more in the more recent movies. But I could, personally, my favorite or my favorite appearance of him, besides his own movies, was in Infinity War. And I just loved him in that movie. I thought he was just like a badass, and he was more deep, and he still has genuinely funny moments because he's Thor, so he kind of doesn't fit in with everybody else. So those moments to me are more like genuinely comedic, like when he's calling Rocket a rabbit, or like when he kind of just tries to like boss people around and, you know, I'm Thor, you know, I'm the mighty Thor. But so for me, Love and Thunder, it's hard for me to like really enjoy that type of comedy. Like sometimes I can, but I don't know. It's hard. Like, I'm not a big fan of like parody movies. And that's kind of what happened with Ragnarok. And then it's just like, I don't know. I like that he can be funny. There are genuinely funny parts about it for me. There were moments I liked. I liked there were heartfelt moments between him and Jane Foster. And those really heartfelt moments, I was happy that they weren't interrupted with like a throwaway joke. So those moments for me, I think, were the best, especially like when he's finding out that she's sick and, you know, like him expressing to her how he feels and just like not wanting to like give up on her or them, you know, like those moments to me were the best. Seeing those kind of interactions between them, because in the beginning when they started interacting to me was kind of awkward, which is expected because they hadn't seen each other in a long time. But it was kind of like she was just all of a sudden Thor, and she just knew how to be. I don't know. It was like she was just thrust into it, and but I do think like what Miss Salad was saying. I think the performances, kind of were also a positive thing for me. I think what's his name? Oh my god. The villain. Why am I blanking on his name?
Gore, Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, yeah. I'm like all of a sudden blanking on his name. I thought he did good, despite I think they could have done more with his character, but I think he did good as far as performance, for sure. So I like Raya said, I kind of just accepted it for what it is. It wasn't. If you go in expecting something else, at least you're not totally caught off guard. So it was what I expected, but there were some heartfelt moments that I enjoyed.
Totally.
From
I
it.
think like from where we left off in Thor: Love and Thunder, I'm excited that he's an adopted dad, or like he's a caregiver to this young girl. I'm excited to see where she goes in the universe as far as
Yeah.
like adventures. I'm wondering if we'll see Thor with the Guardians again, and actually see some Asgardians of the Galaxy, adventures take place. There was only a small taste of that in the movie, and I felt so
Respect.
disappointed because I would have liked there to be more of a presence of them in the film, especially because we haven't gotten any cinematic Guardians appearances since the last Avengers movie.
Game.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, going into like more Marvel stuff, I guess, from San Diego Comic-Con, some key highlights definitely are, X-Men returning, and the Black Panther trailer, as well as the announcements for the next phase of like the multiverse saga that we will be expecting.
So many.
So much content.
Lot.
Yeah. If I want to like start with like a priority one for me, the Black Panther trailer. I don't know if y'all are like, like huge fans of that IP, but that and Guardians of the Galaxy are probably like my favorite IPs in Marvel. How about you, Mint Salad? Did you see the trailer?
I did not see the trailer just because I wanted to be surprised. I like being surprised by movies, so I don't watch the trailers of things. But I'm very excited to see the Black Panther. I did like Black Panther, like the first one, but my favorite IPs, Shang-Chi is honestly probably my favorite Marvel movie by far, just like by the graphics and the choreography. I understand not a lot of people like that movie, but it's a controversial opinion by me that I love Shang-Chi. And then another favorite property, I like Thor. Thor is really fun. And then anything with Doctor Strange. I know there's like nothing new coming out with Doctor Strange, but I'm very excited to see if there's any future content with him. But like, yeah, I'm very curious as to see what they're going to be doing with another Guardians of the Galaxy. The second one was like, honestly, I like that more than the first one, even though people have told me otherwise. So like, oh, the second one's worse. But I like the second one, so maybe the third one's going to be even better. Third time's a charm, I guess.
Yeah, apparently like it'll be like a darker tone as far as what James Gunn is like, leaking or not leaking, but like just sort of like planting seeds of like, expectations for tone for the next film. But yeah, I definitely want to hear Allie. So I'm sure you've watched the Black Panther trailer, and I want to know like the impact of seeing that versus like all the events that have led up to it, IRL and cinematically.
Yeah, I definitely watched it. You have a lot of self-control not watching trailers. I know when it gets closer to movies, I try not to watch stuff that's coming, because then they really start doing like TV spots and clips and all this stuff closer to the movies.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, sometimes I kind of forget stuff that we've seen until the leading up to the movie comes out. So I watched it, but it is nice to see things for the first time in the movie. So I totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But I did watch it, and I really thought it was good for a first teaser, because sometimes first teasers can be somewhat bland, because a lot of times they don't have like that much to show. I mean, the movie can be far away still. This one's not. But I mean, it's actually kind of like not that far away for barely getting the first teaser, but I can see why they waited till Comic-Con to share it. I really liked it a lot. It was emotional. Black Panther is probably one of my favorite. Black Panther and Shang-Chi stand out to me amongst the whole MCU.
Yes.
They're definitely standouts. They're probably seen them more than any other Marvel movies also. So they definitely stand out to me, and I think it was very emotional. The teaser was very emotional, and it's going to be bittersweet, I think, to have the sequel without Chadwick. And it seems like they're obviously kind of, I mean, they're paying respect to him in the teaser, and we're going to see that in the movie. And it seems like it's kind of going to be the same situation as what, I don't know. We know we're not going to have him, so it's hard. It's hard, but I'm glad that they are continuing the franchise. Nevertheless, I think it's the right decision not to recast him, just given the circumstances. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good sequel. I mean, when first movies are as good as that one was, there's high expectations for sequels, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes they let you down because you're like, I want it to be as good as the first one. So I think it's going to be a good sequel. It'll be interesting to see a new Black Panther, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. So yeah, Ryan Coogler, I think he did a really good job with the first one. But I'm interested to see the villain as well.
Oh, Namor. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother like introduction coming into the MCU, because it's kind of like a new world, I guess, kind of like when we got introduced to Wakanda as this whole new world. So I'm looking forward to seeing that too.
Totally. Yeah. And Chillmonger, to your point, a picture of a deceased man in your trailer is called marketing death. I know that Chillmonger, you have your strong, well-founded opinions on, you know, the whole, you know, T'Challa's presence in the MCU. And just for like myself, I knew, like, you know, a year ago, if I were to see like a deep fake of T'Challa, I would be really upset. Like, I would rather just him be alluded to as like, oh, he went far away, or he passed in an accident or something. I just don't want to see this
CGI
like amalgamation of his features on screen. I think that would probably be a little bit more disrespectful than just straight up recasting him. Recasting honors his work, killing his character ends his work. So like the TLDR I've always felt was that Chadwick Boseman's legacy is bigger than the Black Panther, and Black Panther is bigger than just Chadwick Boseman's, you know, portrayal of him, I guess. Or not bigger, but like they're greater than the sum of their parts, basically. So one doesn't always have to, like, you know, cancel out the other. But yeah, I know it's an ongoing discussion, and yeah, it's something that I know going into the movie, even though they're not going to recast him, I still want to see it because I am still invested in the characters of Wakanda, and I'm interested in seeing this new underwater world that Namor comes from. So yeah, just for like the continuation of seeing this this side of the MCU is the reason why I'm still willing to support it with my money, even though I understand, you know, the repercussions of doing so, because the legacy of T'Challa as a character is very significant for a lot of comic book fans. But yeah, I just wanted to add that in there.
Definitely.
So DL says, I wanted them to recast T'Challa to keep the character alive, but I'm open to seeing how they handle it. Yes, exactly. Yeah, totally. And JG Shaolin, Terrific, says, I think whoever is going to take the mantle of Black Panther may make it or break it for most people. Yes, definitely. As far as like who folks are speculating, obviously there's Shuri and then M'Baku. And I had a running theory as well that because we didn't actually see Killmonger, I guess, like, fully die or be put to rest at sea. If he was, in fact, put to rest at sea, potentially that is, like, since we know the antagonists are, you know, are in the ocean or something, there was this feeling I had, like, oh, is there a potential for us to see Killmonger again? Of course, there might be, you know, a multiverse aspect of seeing another version of T'Challa, perhaps portrayed by another actor after this film, or even maybe during this film. So the whole recasting T'Challa versus, like, you know, potentially seeing Killmonger again, those are all, you know, things that I'm interested to see if they do anything with too. And what's up, Antonio? Hey, Nate.
That is awesome. Interesting to think about with Killmonger. Because of what his last words were to T'Challa.
To be buried in the sea with his ancestors. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I never thought about that. He was actually one of my favorite MCU villains, villain.
Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely. Super empathetic for sure.
Yeah.
And he did great. He was super. I like him as an actor, But I was like, can he do this villain thing? You know, I was like,
oh, Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, he comes off as really personable and likable. It's
I
hard
was
for
like,
me to
is he
feel
gonna
threatened
be
by
like
him.
a villain, you know? And I was like, okay, he totally proved me wrong, 100%. Great.
Yeah,
totally.
As a villain.
So, do y'all follow the MCU Disney Plus series like Moon Knight, Miss Marvel? Are y'all looking forward to She-Hulk? Mint, what are your thoughts?
Man, I do plan eventually on catching up on all the Disney Plus Marvel shows. I did see a trailer for She-Hulk, and I was like, oh wow, this is very exciting. I don't come from a comics book world. So it's like, oh, this is very fascinating. Just this character exists, the She-Hulk, and she's a lawyer. What? This is gonna be pretty crazy. I can't believe it. And yeah, I actually have a couple of friends who really love Moon Knight and like hype it up. They say it's like the best show ever, and I want to see it. The only Disney Plus show I've seen was WandaVision. Again, I want to watch it, but I'm really excited to eventually watch these because I mean, I'm of the personal opinion that Marvel cannot be like technically bad. I don't think like Marvel can be bad because there's too many people involved for it to like go wrong to a point where it's like bad and noticeable. So I'm like excited. I think it's going to be great. I think all these shows are going to be great.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like as far as like to your point, the mark of quality as far as like the visual effects execution, it's definitely like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 usually. Yeah. I know we caught them slipping for the She-Hulk trailer where there was some sketchy CGI there, but they cleaned it up real quick as soon as people caught them. So
that's good.
Yeah, definitely. And Allie, any like favorite D plus shows or ones that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I've watched all of the shows up until now. I think the standouts for me so far were Loki, Moon Knight. I think actually I just finished watching recently. I caught up on Miss Marvel. That one was more that one kind of got me in more than I expected it to. The ones I think I was least invested in were Hawkeye and Winter Soldier and Falcon was actually pretty good too. Yeah, like I said earlier, WandaVision was kind of up and down for me. But I mean, yeah, Loki and Moon Knight were definitely very good. In my opinion, those were definitely really good. I'm looking forward to the next seasons that they come out with for those. It was because with Moon Knight, it's nice to see new characters that we haven't seen before. So with like with a lot of the other series that we had already, we've seen their characters. So it's nice to see them in a show. But I mean, I think it's it's just refreshing to have new characters being introduced. So I really liked Moon Knight for that as well, and it was super interesting. I'm looking forward to, besides season 2s of those shows, I'm also looking forward to the Daredevil comeback, I guess, or reborn.
I wanted to get your thoughts on that because, like, if I didn't watch the Netflix shows. Mint, I don't know if you watched the Netflix ones either, but I heard that they're a lot more.
They're very good.
They're a lot more daring to show these characters in like their rough, grittier, comic book accurate portrayals.
Definitely.
You mentioned Daredevil. I've seen like probably a couple episodes of Daredevil, and I liked what I saw, but I didn't like continue with it.
Yeah, the first season was great. It was really good. The second season, halfway through, it got a little muddy for me. Like a lot of stuff was going on, like in the story. But I still finished it, and then season 3 came back strong for me. But then after that is when they pulled them from Netflix, and then we found out because of Disney Plus, that made sense. But they're really good. I recommend watching them. I hope that, Vincent, I never know how to say his last name.
Vincent
D'Onofrio.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah, I never even try to say it, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
Kingpin. He's coming back too, which he was really good in that show. He was great too. So I'm glad to see them coming back. I hope I know it's going to be like a new series, I don't know if they're going to necessarily pick up where they left off because, it was called Daredevil Reborn. But I hope they kind of keep in line with at least somewhat what was going on. Just like it feels like it's the same Daredevil. You know what I mean? Like not just a whole new like reboot of him using the same actor. But I'm definitely excited to see him come back because it was a good show. He was a really good casting decision, I guess you would say. So I'm looking forward to that.
I agree. Like, what I do appreciate about Marvel is that they do respect some fan castings, like for the Fantastic Four, or Mr. Fantastic casting, I should say. I forget the actor's name. He's from The Office.
John Krasinski.
Yes, that was the big time fan casting for years, and I think he fit the role perfectly. I was so excited to see him on screen, and I'm really hoping that, Marcus, to the point that you made earlier in the chat, them announcing the Fantastic Four movie not necessarily being a retelling of the origin story, it's going to take off like where we're already familiar with these characters as origin stories, and they're off to their, we meet them on their next adventure, basically. I am looking forward to that. I do appreciate it because, like, I don't need a rehash of that's already of a series that's been portrayed on the screen twice already in multiple movies. But yeah,
I'm glad they're finally able to bring them in too, because I know people have been waiting for that for a while. But that kind of stuff takes time because they didn't really have they had to bring them in from Fox and all this kind of stuff, all the X-Men and mutant characters. So it's going to be cool to see how they kind of transition them into the MCU. But I guess I don't know who's going to play them now. It's going to be interesting to see who they cast too. Because, I know people have expectations for those characters. So hopefully people don't, it's a positive.
It is like a double-edged sword, like when you're so responsive and in tune with your audience, and when you cast someone or have like a misstep somehow, they like are super unforgiving, at least for like a period of time. So there is some like here and there. But getting into like the DC stuff, because a lot of the announcements there, again, like maybe not as quote unquote impressive as what Marvel laid out for us to be excited for. The two biggest announcements clearly are, Black Adam and Shazam. And Mint, are you a fan of the first Shazam movie at all? Are you looking forward to the sequel?
I've only seen okay, first of all, Shazam, is that Space Jam? I gotta get it clear, because if not, then no, I have not seen that movie. So
gosh. Yeah,
I've only heard a lot about it. I've heard like everyone like, oh, it's the Mandela effect. Maybe it's Kazam with like another actor. Like I've heard that, but like honestly, I've never seen Shazam before.
Oh, dude, it's totally fine. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. When you said, "Is that Space Jam?" I'm like, well, are you talking about the Shaq movie? And are you talking about Kazam? Oh man, yes, so many. And then like the Mandela effect of like the Shazam movie with there was this other comedian dude who Sinbad. Yes. Yeah. Like the Mandela
Sinbad,
effect.
yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, so many IPs in my brain. I could totally see how you could do that. But yeah, Allie, I just want to hear your thoughts on Shazam first. So like, are you a fan of the original movie? Are you excited for the sequel? What are your thoughts on that announcement and what you saw in the trailer?
Yeah, the first one, I thought it was fine. I wasn't like blown away. I mean, I think it was a perfectly good movie for his character and what you expect from his character, since he is on the, lighter side. He's a kid, so you expect these silly moments, and how would a kid handle being all of a sudden being a superhero. So I enjoyed the first one. I thought it was perfectly fine. I do think that the second one, it looks like it's going to have like a higher production value, so I think that'll do them some good. I know obviously David Sandberg did what he could with the first one. Sometimes it looked a little wonky, but he did what he could with, movies that require a lot of CGI and, visual effects and stuff. So I think the second one definitely looks like a step up in that department, production value. I totally appreciated the Snyder Cut references in the trailer for the second one. I don't know if we're actually going to see that footage in the movie, but at least we saw it in the trailer. And it's nice. It was interesting to see Shazam. Basically, I mean, he's telling us he exists in this world because he's talking about those characters. Well, those heroes that are not characters to him, heroes. We saw in the first one, I guess, with Easter eggs. But it's interesting now to see him talking about it, like how he's going to fit into this world where there already are these superheroes, and how is he going to be valuable as a superhero? You know, like what am I going to bring to the table? So I'm looking forward to seeing the Shazam family, since they should have a bigger role now actually as superheroes in the second one. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I want to see a build up to Black Adam, or like a potential meetup between them eventually. You know, it's not going to happen in this movie, but how they're going to kind of, what are they going to hint at for, you know, a future battle between them. So I like the new, and definitely the suits, major upgrade. So
yes, I wanted to highlight them, and I'm pulling up the image for Mint because I hope that these characters look somewhat familiar to you, at least like from like the last maybe like several years. I know you don't follow DC too hard, but if you're a fan of Marvel content, I think this has been like probably, for better or worse, I'll put that qualifier in, like probably the most adjacent to a Marvel type of feeling movie. And it definitely has like big Goonies vibes as well. Like, so basically like the plot is, well, for the first movie anyway, like these powers get granted to this kid to be able to like transform into who we see as Shazam, the center character here. And not to get into too many spoilers, but yeah, obviously like the rest of his, you know, his family, because he's in an adopted, you know, household of other kids, they all have these powers granted to them too. So this is basically a continuation of the first movie where everyone has their powers, they beat the big bad, and this is like fast forward several years later to when they're, you know, still kind of discovering who they want to be as superheroes and what their destinies are and stuff like that. So yeah, I would definitely encourage folks to rewatch or watch to the first Shazam movie. I think it's like kind of a really fun popcorn flick. Doesn't require too much, you know, active attention. Granted, you know, that may not be everyone's cup of tea just for like the subject matter, because I know like through the various interpretations of Shazam as a character, maybe he comes off as like a little bit childish in this portrayal, but we will see what happens in the sequel. Let's see.
I like their outfits a lot.
Oh yeah,
I like the two red.
Yes, very Marvel. Yes, the drip is real.
Yeah,
they got a nice upgrade. I mean, I didn't really have a problem with the suits in the first one. I thought they looked fine, but it's definitely an upgrade for sure. Yeah, so they did a nice job with the second one. These ones here. It's nice to see suit upgrades from one movie to the next. So that's always cool.
Yeah.
Definitely. And what's up, Mr. Memes? Good to see you. Thank you for joining everyone in the chat. You all are keeping it nice and lively up in here. And yeah, I guess jumping to the Black Adam panel. So Allie, I want to get your thoughts first, because I know that this is a development that's been happening for like almost 10 years, right? That Rock's been trying to get this movie out the door. So you, as someone who is an active DC fan, is the news that you're hearing so far about what you're seeing, is that kind of like tempering your expectations, or are you trying to keep those in check based off of like IRL situations at the studio? Like, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit of both. It's nice, like you said, after all the years that we knew The Rock was going to be Black Adam. I mean, I think there was probably a point in time that we were like, we're not ever going to see that movie. So at least I'm glad he's finally getting this movie out there for us to see and being able to share with us. I am looking forward to it. I mean, he made a nice big grand entrance at Comic-Con, so that was pretty cool. People got to see him in the suit and everything. I mean, I know what the ideal situation would be is that people ultimately want to see him go up against Superman. That's what I would love to see eventually. And I just don't know. It's hard. It's hard because I want to get like you want to be excited, but at the same time, you're like, are they going to give us that? I don't know. And what he had to say at Comic-Con about Henry Cavill being the Superman of our generation, and it seems like they're trying, like they are on our side. They want the same thing as what the fans want. I really hope we see that someday. But I think what they showed, this sneak peek that they showed at Comic-Con, like the first couple trailers that we got, I feel like there was kind of a lot of the same footage in both of the official trailers that we've had. And so I think this one was nice in that we saw some stuff that we hadn't seen yet in the other two trailers. We saw some new footage. It looks, a little bit more crisp and cleaned up, a little bit more like some more epic shots in this sneak peek that they shared. I guess it wasn't really a trailer. It was kind of just like some footage. But I thought it was a little bit of a step up. The last trailer, I didn't seem that, like, they didn't really show too much new things. So I'm glad they had something different to show at Comic-Con. And hopefully it lives up to the hype because he's been hyping this up for a long time. So, yeah, hopefully it turns out to be a positive experience after all these. There's going to be a lot riding on this movie for fans. Well, I guess Warner Brothers in that way too. So, yeah, I'm hoping I don't know. I'm kind of nervous to be excited about it.
It's okay. I'm in the same boat as you. Like, over the last almost 2 years, as I'm getting more acquainted with the hardcore audience for DC content and just comic book movies in general, I'm starting to notice more things that make me nervous about the production pipeline of these movies. As far as Mint, did you have any looks at the trailers for Black Adam, or are you aware of this movie coming out? What are your thoughts on it?
I had no idea that Black Adam was coming out. Not to mention, I'm completely unfamiliar with Black Adam's character. But by looking at this design of his character, I love the front cape thing with the design. I'm a big fan, and pretty much just looking at his costume, I'm already a big fan. Pretty much.
He's the anti-hero to Shazam.
Oh, good. Then I'm even a bigger fan.
They basically they get their powers from the same wizard Shazam, but he's the other side of that coin. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah. So I guess what would you say, Raya? Is he a villain or he's more of an anti-hero?
So I'm leaning more on the anti-hero side.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they do. So Mint, this is probably not a spoiler because it's in the trailer, but they make huge efforts to get you to empathize with his anguish of losing his son, and basically his son gives his life to save his father's life. So there's this tension and thirst for vengeance, basically, to for the loss of his son that's driving a lot of his motivation. At least that's the narrative that's being told in the trailer. I'm very much like you, where I'm not a big comic book head. I watch the content, and I watch a bunch of YouTubers talk about the content who are more knowledgeable on the source material than I am, like Allie. So
my husband's my source material.
I look to y'all for what I need to be on the up and up on as far as these characters and what I'm supposed to expect from them. But my biggest concern on this movie, though, was is The Rock able to transcend as an actor? And I don't just see him as Dwayne The Rock Johnson on the screen. So, Mint, what is your opinion? Do you feel like The Rock is a lot of other actors like Nicolas Cage, Will Smith, and other actors who kind of have their typecast, characterizations that we all know and love from them, and it's really hard for us to be immersed in their portrayal of characters that are anything other than that? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm honestly just excited to see Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Dwayne Johnson, that's not a real name. But I do remember seeing him a little bit of from what was that Pacific fault line movie? It's about an earthquake that takes place in LA.
San Andreas. Yeah, yes. I saw that. Yeah.
I remember seeing a little bit of it and seeing his performance. Okay, I'm actually quite interested to see what how he portrays a superhero. But now he's Who is he cast? Like, is he cast as the anti-hero or like the protagonist?
He's the main character. So yeah,
okay.
he's kind of gonna be an anti-hero though, basically.
Okay, well, okay. From that angle, Deadpool's kind of like an anti-hero main character, and so I'm like curious to. I'm very interested, honestly, just because, just knowing how he acts in other movies, it's like this seems like a complete like 180, honestly. But I'm still open to it. I'm very excited to see what happens.
Definitely. And Allie, while we're wrapping up this topic, do you have any like reservations on Rock's ability to transcend as this character and show emotional range?
Yeah, see, I know that's kind of been like a thing with the Rock playing Black Adam, because as much as I think most people are a fan of the Rock, I mean, I don't think most people are not. I mean, most people are. He's a household name, you know. He's probably one of the biggest stars in entertainment. So I don't know if I have reservations about it, but I guess I can, like, with the other DC characters that we've had so far, besides Ben Affleck, I would say Ben Affleck is one of the bigger actors that we've had so far. A lot of them have been like, their career took off after they got into these roles. They were kind of like not household names like The Rock is. And so I don't know. Sometimes it's kind of like, I don't want to say a negative thing, but sometimes it's like when these huge household name actors are, these huge stars are cast into these roles, sometimes it's like, oh, they're just putting that name. They just want to have that name. And it's not as much about like, can they actually play? Are they in that character? Can they do that character? So I think that he's been super passionate about this, and it seems like he's really, like, you know, worked hard on being able to finally do this movie. So I am gonna, like, I think he's gonna step it up. I think he has to. Like, people have been waiting years to see this movie. So I think it might be a time when he has to kind of step out of, like you said, the movies that we're used to seeing him in, you know, like action movies, and maybe there's not as much depth to the characters that he's playing. They're entertaining, they're fun to watch, you know, we like watching, he's entertaining to watch, but this time I think he's gonna have to kind of dig deeper to play this kind of character that has lore and that has like, you know, kind of a traumatic origin. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to see if this is going to be like another, you know, a different level that we're used to seeing him play, instead of just being like, he's a name that we all know, so they put him in this role, you know. But hopefully, I think he'll step it up. I mean, I always like him, but you know what I mean. I see where that's a question. It's been a question of, can he really play this, you know, type of these characters that people have their own like expectations of how they want to see them portrayed. And I guess there's always going to be people that are satisfied and not with these characters and who's playing them. So I think I'm looking forward to it regardless, though. So yeah, I think it'll be another level for him, though. Like, push himself to really be like an actor, a deep actor.
Totally. I agree as well. And I'm looking forward to the movie because I do want to give The Rock the opportunity to impress me as far as like his range. I haven't really watched anything that I dislike him in, but the stoic, intimidating, but still down to earth trope that he's so well known for in his acting career has been kind of following him for like the last almost decade. And it has contributed to making him a household name. And as much as I want to be more immersed in this Black Adam character, it'll be really hard to kind of break that trope from my brain initially. So I'm trying to go in with an open mind. But like I said, even with the original Suicide Squad movie, Mint, I know you watched the Suicide Squad, but you didn't get a chance to watch the original Suicide Squad, right?
I've only seen up to maybe like 40 minutes in, and that was because I was editing a commentary track. Oh, not a commentary. A watch along kind of deal. Like 2 years ago, I had a couple of friends. They did like a cosmonaut picture kind of style. Man, I don't know what to call it, like review or something. Well, like it's not on my YouTube, but like up to where it ends, like that edit ends up to like Superman, like I don't know, being the ultimate bad guy. That's how much I've watched them do. Suicide Squad. Wait, give me Justice League. The Suicide Squad, I have not seen much of, but I've only seen like a little bits and trailers, bits of it. Again, I've only seen what my friends have shown me, honestly. From what I've heard, not a lot. From what I've heard either people really liked it or really hated it, and soundtrack is great.
Yeah, yes. The reason I bring it up is because Will Smith, being Deadshot in the movie, like he was very like quippy, very like likable, very empathetic in his performance, and that's kind of everything that Will Smith is known for in a lot of like his key roles. So yeah, that was like one of the examples of like these really like likable, talented, enigmatic screen presence of like Will Smith and The Rock. Are they able to like transcend? And that's going to be the question that I have for that movie, Black Adam, when it comes out. And yeah, thank you everyone for coming through to hang out in the chat and support Allie as well as Mint Salad. Their links are in the description to go follow them over on Twitter as well as their YouTube channels. And yeah, I think we covered a lot of the big pop culture announcements up till now. Like we're roughly like past the middle point of the year, so there's plenty more to look forward to down the road. But yeah, oh, and Snyder Queen, thank you so much for your commentary in the chat too. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I thought a lot of the CGI backlash wasn't correct. Like I think it was misplaced anger towards the CGI. Yes, that's one thing that I do want to kind of call out as well, because a lot of like the contention, I guess, with labor in the entertainment industry are, the deadlines and the amount of work being put on these contractors for very little pay and for very high expectations, if not, potentially being blacklisted if those metrics are not met. So that's a really good call out, Snyder Queen, that as much as we as fans demand the best for, our dollar and for these IPs that we follow so heavily, like that was kind of like a real world reminder that, hey, they're like human beings, like putting these like, properties together for us to enjoy. So that is something to keep in mind too. But yeah, I just wanted to shout out everyone again. Thank y'all so much for coming through to support. And Isaac Multiverse of Movies, just subscribe to them. Thank you so much for supporting the panel.
Thank you.
And yeah, I want to go around the horn, give everyone a chance to let us know what they're working on, where we can find them. So Mint Salad, take it away.
All right. My next movie review coming out tomorrow is They Live. So stick around for that. And my YouTube is youtube.com/ASCpresents. And there you can find even more fun links than YouTube. So yeah, go check out my YouTube.
Absolutely. And Allie, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. I know you mentioned what you're working on when you came in, but for folks who just came in, what can we expect from you and where can we find you at?
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me onto the stream. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, my YouTube is SuperHive, just how you see it here with my name. And I just uploaded a video right before I came over. Yeah, I tried to get it out real quick. It was kind of unexpected, but I wanted to cover it real quick. I just try to cover, news things that come out as far as, all this comic book stuff that we all like to follow. If announcements come out, movie announcements, movie reviews, trailer reactions, and besides other things too that are kind of like just geeky things, maybe stuff that's on Netflix or just stuff in this world that we've been basically the kind of stuff we've been talking about on here. So that's the kind of stuff I like to chat about over on my channel.
Yes, Allie is going to drop a fire video talking about the latest DC news that dropped today. Please go check it out because that's literally... Yes, if you don't want to sit through a 2-hour live stream and try to like find the point where they actually talk about the news article that you didn't read, go and watch Allie's content. And for super awesome, amazing original movie review content and comedy, check out Mint Salad. She is amazing. I just recently got familiar with her content, and she's an absolute breath of fresh air on the platform YouTube. So please check them out. Links are in the description. I'll go ahead and play the outro. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. Feel free to exit out of the StreamYard. And
thank you for having us. So.
Absolutely. Y'all were amazing, wonderful folks. So yeah,
I'm always the only girl, so it's nice.
Yes, I made a point to make an all-women panel.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it. Thank you again. I wanted to make this as straight shoot to the point as possible, and we did it. Awesome. In about 1 hour. But yeah, I'll go ahead and play the outro, and thanks everyone for tuning in. All right, take care, y'all. Bye.